The lilies are suffocating me. I arrange a perfect tower of pastel-wrapped gifts on the table while fighting the burn behind my eyes. The scent is everywhere, cloying, funeral sweet, as I adjust the Welcome Baby Girl banner for the third time. Each crease I smooth feels like another crack in my heart. Hannah, there you are! Robert's voice slides across my skin like oil. I force my face into pleasant neutrality before turning to face him. My boss, the father of my child, the man whose baby shower I'm decorating for his wife. Everything looks perfect, he says, scanning the room with the satisfied air of someone inspecting property they own. His eyes linger on the pink balloon arch I spent 2 hours assembling. Bailey will love it. I nod, not trusting my voice. 11 months ago, I'd believed his promises, that we'd find a way to be together, that he just needed time to end his marriage, that our baby would have his name. Now I'm the executive assistant planning his wife's baby shower while our daughter, my daughter, lives in my apartment with a rotating cast of babysitters, her existence a secret I'm paid to keep. You remembered the non-alcoholic champagne? Robert straightens his tie, the one I bought him last Christmas. Of course, I gesture to the bar cart, and the specialty mocktails Bailey mentioned wanting. You're incredible. His hand brushes my lower back as he leans in, voice dropping. I don't know what I'd do without you. The familiar cologne that once made my heart race now turns my stomach. I step away, busying myself with napkin placement. How's Lily? He asks quietly. My hands freeze. He never asks about her, not by name. She's walking now, I say, throat tight. Started last week. Something flickers across his face, pride, regret. It's gone before I can identify it. Hannah, you know Robert, there you are, darling. Bailey floats into the room in a cream maternity dress that probably costs more than my monthly rent. Her pregnancy glow is radiant, her belly perfectly round at 7 months. She kisses Robert's cheek before turning to me with genuine warmth. Hannah, everything is stunning. I can't believe you did all this yourself. I accept her hug, breathing through the knife twist of her innocence. Bailey has always been kind to me. She doesn't deserve this betrayal, but neither did I. Just doing my job, I manage. Nonsense, you've gone above and beyond. She squeezes my hands. I keep telling Robert he needs to promote you. You're wasted as an assistant. Robert laughs too loudly. Hannah knows how valuable she is to me. Yes. Valuable enough to pay my rent in a separate building. Valuable enough for a non-disclosure agreement. Valuable enough to keep silent while he claims my child doesn't exist. The first guests arrive, Robert's colleagues and Bailey's friends. I fade into the background, the perfect invisible coordinator. I pour drinks. I arrange food. I take photos of Bailey opening gifts for a baby that isn't hers, while mine sits across town with a stranger. Speech time, someone calls out. Robert stands, champagne flute in hand, and gazes adoringly at his wife. When Bailey told me we were expecting, it was the happiest day of my life. The room awes. I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste blood. I've waited my entire life to be a father, he continues. To have a family with the only woman I've ever truly loved. My phone buzzes in my pocket. The babysitter. I slip into the hallway to answer. Ms. Reeves, Lily has a fever. I've given her the baby Tylenol like you said, but it's still 101. My heart pounds. I'll be there as soon as I can. I check my watch. At least another hour of this performance before I can leave without raising suspicions. When I return, Robert is kneeling beside Bailey, his hand on her stomach, eyes closed in theatrical bliss as he feels his daughter kick. Their daughter, according to every document, every social media post, every lie he's told. I take photos. Click. The perfect husband. Click. The perfect wife. Click. The perfect family. Later, as guests begin to leave, I'm gathering discarded wrapping paper when Robert corners me by the kitchen. You seemed distracted today, he says, voice low. Lily's sick, I need to go. His jaw tightens. You know the rules, Hannah. No one here can suspect anything. She has a fever, Robert. She'll be fine. His hand grips my wrist, hidden from view by the counter. Remember our arrangement. Your position at the company, your apartment, your lifestyle. It all depends on discretion. I pull away. And your reputation, your marriage, your board position, it all depends on my silence. Something dangerous flashes in his eyes. Careful, Hannah. Don't forget who has more to lose here. As he walks away to rejoin Bailey, I feel something shift inside me. The fear and heartache crystallize into something harder, something with edges. In my purse is an envelope. Inside is a copy of Lily's birth certificate with Robert's name listed as father. I'd brought it today in a moment of desperate courage, thinking I might finally give it to Bailey. Instead, I tuck it into the bottom of the gift basket I'd assembled, the one Bailey will unpack at home, filled with luxury baby items. Not today, but soon. Because Robert is wrong about one thing. I have nothing left to lose. My apartment feels emptier than usual tonight. The silence broken only by Lily's shallow breathing through the baby monitor. Her fever's down, but I still check on her every 20 minutes, pressing my lips to her forehead, counting her tiny breaths. I should sleep. Instead, I sit cross-legged on my kitchen floor at 2 a.m., surrounded by stacks of papers, bank statements, emails, text messages, all evidence of my relationship with Robert. The relationship he pretends never happened. My phone vibrates against the tile. Emiliano. You awake? I hesitate before responding. Emiliano is the only person at work who suspects something. Not the full truth, but enough to worry about me. Me, unfortunately. Emiliano, saw your face at the shower today. You okay? No, I'm not okay. I haven't been okay since I watched Robert's face fall when I told him I was pregnant, since he explained so reasonably why we needed to keep things quiet for now. Since I gave birth alone while he was on vacation with Bailey in Santorini. Me, just tired. Lily's been sick. Emiliano. Want me to bring soup tomorrow? My abuela's recipe. Cures everything. His kindness makes my eyes sting. I don't deserve friends. Not when I'm the other woman. The secret. The mistake. Me. That would be nice. Thanks. I gather the papers into a folder labelled insurance and slide it back into my desk drawer. As I pass Lily's room, I peek in again. Her dark curls, just like Robert's, stick to her forehead. She has his eyes too. Anyone who saw them together would know instantly. But no one ever will. Morning comes too quickly. I drop Lily at daycare, a place 40 minutes from our apartment because it's far enough from Robert's social circle, and arrive at the office with minutes to spare. There she is, Caroline's voice cuts across the lobby. Party planner extraordinaire. I force a smile. Caroline, marketing director and office shark, has been circling me for months, sensing weakness. Bailey can't stop raving about the shower, she continues, stepping into the elevator with me. She showed me all the photos. You have quite the eye for detail. Just doing my job. Her eyes narrow slightly. Robert's lucky to have such a dedicated assistant. Something in her tone makes my skin prickle. Before I can respond, the elevator opens on our floor. Robert stands at my desk, examining a document. He looks up, face professionally neutral. Hannah, my office, please. I follow him, feeling Caroline's eyes on my back. Once the door closes, Robert's demeanour shifts. What the hell were you thinking? Excuse me. He slides a piece of paper across his desk. It's a photo of Lily's birth certificate, the one I'd placed in Bailey's gift basket. My stomach drops. How did you... Bailey found it while unpacking the gifts. Thankfully, she assumed it was mixed in by mistake from another gift. She gave it to me to return to you. His voice is controlled fury. Do you have any idea what you've done? Nothing, apparently, I say, surprising myself with my steadiness. Nothing's changed. This was a warning shot, wasn't it? A threat. He runs his hand through his hair. I've been more than generous, Hannah. The apartment, the allowance. I don't want your money. The words burst out before I can stop them. I want you to acknowledge your daughter. Lower your voice, he hisses. She's walking now. Did I tell you that? And she says, Mama. She'll be saying Dada soon too, but there's no one to respond. Robert's expression hardens. We had an agreement. No, you had demands. I was too scared to fight back. I lean forward. But Lily deserves better. And what about Bailey? Does she deserve to have her marriage destroyed? To learn her husband had an affair while she was struggling through 3 miscarriages? The information hits me like a slap. Bailey had miscarriages. He'd never told me. Robert sees my shock and presses his advantage. Yes, Hannah. While you were getting pregnant, my wife was grieving. Again. So forgive me if I'm not eager to blow up her world when she's finally getting what she's always wanted. Shame and anger war inside me. So Lily means nothing to you? I provide for her. Money isn't fatherhood. He sighs, suddenly looking tired. What do you want from me, Hannah? Really? Everything. Nothing. I don't even know anymore. I want... My voice breaks. I want to stop living a lie. Then quit, he says simply. Walk away. Find another job. But we both know I can't. My resume is thin, my savings non-existent. The NDA I signed means I can't explain the gap in my employment, and the child support is contingent on my silence. A knock interrupts us. Emiliano pokes his head in. Sorry to interrupt. Hannah, your daycare called the main line. They couldn't reach you. My heart stops. What's wrong? Lily's fever spiked. They're taking her to Memorial Children's. I'm moving before he finishes speaking, grabbing my purse. Hannah, Robert calls after me. We're not finished here. I turn back, aware of Emiliano watching us curiously. My daughter needs me, I say, loud enough for Emiliano to hear. Everything else can wait. Something shifts in Robert's expression. Panic, calculation, then decision. Take the company car, he says smoothly, and keep me updated on your situation. As I rush out, I catch Emiliano's confused look. He follows me to the elevator. Hannah, what's going on? Why does Robert care about your daughter's fever? The doors close, leaving us alone. The question hangs between us, and suddenly I'm tired of lies. Because she's his daughter too, I say. The hospital corridor stretches endlessly before me, my heels striking the linoleum with military precision. Each step echoes my heartbeat. Too fast. Too hard. I haven't breathed properly since Emiliano's words in the elevator. Because she's his daughter too. The confession hangs between us now as we rush through the pediatric ward. Emiliano insisted on driving me, his knuckles white on the steering wheel the entire way. Room 304, the nurse at the station tells me, her eyes soft with practiced sympathy. I break into a run, Emiliano close behind. When I push through the door, the daycare director rises from a chair beside Lily's crib. Ms. Reeves, I'm so sorry, her temperature shot up to 104, and she started seizing. I barely hear her. Lily lies in the hospital crib, her tiny body connected to an IV. Her eyes flutter open when I touch her cheek. Mama, she whimpers, reaching for me. I gather her against my chest, mindful of the tubes. I'm here, baby. Mama's here. The doctor arrives minutes later, clipboard in hand. Febrile seizure, she explains. Common in children under 3. We're giving her antibiotics for an ear infection, which likely caused the fever. Relief makes my knees weak. So she'll be okay? She should be. We'll keep her overnight for observation. After the doctor leaves, Emiliano hands me a coffee from the vending machine. His eyes never leave Lily's face. She looks like him, he says quietly. I nod, too exhausted to deny it anymore. How long? It ended before I knew I was pregnant. I stroke Lily's damp curls. By then, Bailey was pregnant too. Emiliano's expression darkens. And he made you keep it secret. He said it was better for everyone. Better for him, you mean? Emiliano paces the small room. Hannah, this is wrong. You know that, right? What he's doing to you, to Lily, it's wrong. You think I don't know that? My voice cracks. But what choice do I have? I signed an NDA. I need the job, the health insurance. I gesture to the hospital room. This would bankrupt me otherwise. There are other jobs. Not with my resume, not that would pay enough for a single mother. Emiliano sits beside me. So what's your plan? Wait until Lily's 18? Watch Robert play dad to his other kid while ignoring this one? His words cut because they're true. I have no plan, just day-to-day survival. I left a copy of her birth certificate in Bailey's gift basket, I admit. Robert found it. Emiliano's eyes widen. That's why you were in his office. He thinks it was a threat. Maybe it was. I look down at Lily, now sleeping peacefully. I'm just so tired of pretending. My phone buzzes. Robert. Status update? No, how is she? No, is my daughter okay? Just a demand for information. Something hardens inside me. I type back, febrile seizure from ear infection, being kept overnight for observation. I'll be staying with her. His response comes immediately. Take tomorrow off if needed. We'll discuss your stunt with the birth certificate when you return. Emiliano reads the exchange over my shoulder and swears under his breath. He's unbelievable. That's Robert. I tuck the phone away. Always in control. Not always, Emiliano hesitates. There's something you should know. The seriousness in his voice makes me look up. Caroline cornered me after you left. She was asking questions about you and Robert. My stomach drops. What kind of questions? If I'd noticed anything unprofessional, if you ever mentioned him outside of work. He shifts uncomfortably. She implied she's been watching you both for months. Why would she? The VP position. Everyone knows Robert's grooming someone for it. Caroline thinks it's you because of favoritism. The irony would be laughable if it weren't so bitter. Robert has never shown me professional favoritism. If anything, he's harder on me than anyone else. She's fishing, I say. She doesn't know anything. Maybe. Emiliano doesn't look convinced. But she's dangerous, Hannah. If she's building a case against you for HR, the implications hit me all at once. If Caroline starts an investigation, the NDA might not protect Robert. Emails could be subpoenaed. Witnesses questioned. For the first time, I see a crack in Robert's perfect facade. I need to talk to her, I decide. What? No, that's exactly what you shouldn't do. Not to confess, to redirect. My mind races with possibilities. If Caroline thinks she can use me to get to Robert, maybe I can use her too. Emiliano stares at me. That's playing with fire. I'm already burning. I look down at Lily, and I'm done letting Robert control the narrative. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. Hannah, it's Bailey. Robert told me about your daughter being in the hospital. I'm so sorry. Is there anything you need? The genuine concern in her message makes my chest ache. Bailey, who has no idea her husband fathered my child. Bailey, who suffered through miscarriages while I was pregnant. Bailey, who deserves better than both of us. I show Emiliano the message. What are you going to say? He asks. I stare at the phone, at Bailey's kindness glowing on the screen. Something shifts inside me, not just anger at Robert now, but determination. Nothing yet, I say, setting the phone aside. But I think I just found my leverage. Lily stirs in her sleep, her little hand gripping my finger. For the first time in over a year, I feel something beyond despair. Something with teeth. Emiliano, I say quietly, I need your help with something. Lily's discharge papers crinkle in my hand as I sign the final form. After a night of hospital chairs and beeping monitors, we're going home. She's better. Fever gone. Ear infection responding to antibiotics. The relief is physical, like shedding a lead vest. All set, the nurse says, handing me a prescription. Follow up with her pediatrician in 3 days. I nod, gathering Lily into my arms. She's clingy today, her head heavy on my shoulder as we walk out. The hospital sliding doors open to reveal Emiliano leaning against his car, 2 coffee cups in hand. Thought you might need this, he says, passing me one. How's our patient? Better. I settle Lily into her car seat, her eyelids already drooping. Thank you for coming back. He shrugs like it's nothing. It isn't nothing. The drive to my apartment is quiet until Lily falls asleep. Then Emiliano glances at me. Did you mean what you said yesterday? About needing my help? I stare out the window, watching the city blur past. I can't keep living like this, Emiliano. For Lily's sake. For mine. What are you planning? I'm not sure yet. I turn to face him. But I need to know, are you with me? Because once I start this, there's no going back, for either of us. He's silent for a long moment, fingers tapping the steering wheel. What you're talking about could cost me my job too. I know. And Robert isn't someone who forgives easily. I know that too. We stop at a red light. Emiliano turns to look at me fully. When my sister got pregnant at 17, her boyfriend denied everything, blocked her number, told everyone she was lying. His jaw tightens. I watched what that did to her. To my nephew. I won't stand by and watch it happen again. The light turns green. He drives on. I'm with you, he says simply. 3 days later, I return to work. Lily's with a new babysitter, one Emiliano's sister recommended, who lives in my building and charges half what the others did. Small victories. The office hums with Monday energy as I step off the elevator. I've barely reached my desk when Caroline materializes beside me, perfect red lips curved in a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Hannah, welcome back. How's your little one? I arrange my face into pleasant neutrality. Much better, thank you. Good. She perches on the edge of my desk. Listen, a few of us are grabbing drinks after work at Vellum. You should join us. It's not a request. It's a summons. I'd love to, but my daughter... Just for an hour, her smile hardens. I insist. Before I can respond, Robert's office door opens. He looks between us, expression unreadable. Hannah. My office. Carolyn slides off my desk with a knowing look. Think about drinks. It would be good for you to connect with more colleagues. The threat is barely veiled. I nod, then follow Robert, closing the door behind me. He doesn't offer me a seat. You're late? My daughter had a follow-up appointment. Your personal life can't interfere with your professional responsibilities. The hypocrisy is breathtaking. My personal life is my professional problem because you made it that way. Robert's eyes narrow. Careful, Hannah. No. The word comes out stronger than I expected. I'm done being careful. I'm done pretending. What does that mean? It means Caroline is asking questions about us, about why you show me favoritism. I step closer. What happens when those questions reach Bailey? Something flickers across his face, fear quickly masked. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. This secret is bigger than just us now. Robert sits heavily in his chair. For a moment, he looks almost human, tired, cornered. Then the mask slides back into place. What do you want? Recognition. For Lily. Not public, not yet. But I want you to meet her. To be her father, not just her financial support. He laughs, short and bitter. And how exactly would that work? Secret visits? Clandestine father-daughter bonding? It's a start. It's a fantasy. He leans forward. Bailey is 7 months pregnant, Hannah. Our daughter will be born in 8 weeks. This isn't the time to complicate things. Your daughter, I correct him. Lily is already your daughter. Something shifts in his expression. Not softening exactly, but recalculation. I need time to think. It's more than he's ever conceded before. I press my advantage. Caroline invited me for drinks tonight. She's fishing for information. Decline. If I do, she'll be more suspicious. I meet his eyes. Unless you have a better solution. Robert studies me for a long moment. Fine. Go. Tell her nothing. And Lily? He sighs. I'll consider meeting her. That's all I can promise right now. It's not enough, but it's a crack in his armor. Vellum is crowded when I arrive. Caroline waves from a corner booth where she sits with 2 other directors. I order a club soda and join them, hyper-aware of every word, every glance. An hour of careful small talk passes before Caroline makes her move. As the others leave for the bar, she leans in. You know, Hannah, I've always wondered how someone with your limited qualifications landed such a prime position. I take a slow sip of my drink. Hard work. Attention to detail. And a very appreciative boss. Her smile is razor sharp. The kind who takes special interest in your development. Robert is a good mentor. Is that what they call it these days? She slides her phone across the table. On the screen is a photo. Robert and me, standing too close in his office, his hand on my arm. From yesterday. My blood runs cold. You've been taking pictures of us? Gathering evidence. She retrieves her phone. The VP position opens next month. I've worked too hard to watch it go to someone who slept her way into consideration. That's not... Save it. Caroline leans back. I'm not unreasonable, Hannah. Step aside. Tell Robert you're not interested in advancement. Do that, and these photos stay private. The trap is elegant in its simplicity. Deny the affair and she'll show the photos to Bailey anyway. Admit it, and I lose everything. But Caroline has made one critical mistake. She assumes I want the VP position. I stand, gathering my coat. You've misunderstood everything, Caroline. But thank you for showing me those photos. Excuse me? I lean down, voice low. You just gave me exactly what I needed. Her confusion follows me out into the night, where Emiliano waits in his car as planned. Well? He asks, as I slide into the passenger seat. I pull out my phone, showing him the text I just sent to Robert. We need to talk. Caroline has photos, and I'm done playing by your rules. It started, I tell Emiliano. There's no going back now. Rain pelts my kitchen window as I pace the length of my apartment. Each flash of lightning illuminates Lily's toys scattered across the floor, evidence of a life Robert refuses to acknowledge. My phone sits on the counter, silent since my text to him 3 hours ago. The knock, when it comes, is so forceful I jump. I check the peephole, expecting Robert. It's not Robert. Bailey stands in my hallway, rain-soaked and trembling. Her pregnant belly protrudes beneath her open coat, her face pale in the harsh corridor light. I open the door, shock rendering me speechless. May I come in? Her voice is steady despite her shaking hands. I step aside, mind racing. How did she find my address? What does she know? Bailey enters, her eyes immediately finding the framed photos of Lily on my wall. She stares at them, then turns to me. Is it true? The question hangs between us. I could lie. I could ask what she means. I could protect Robert one last time. Yes, I say instead. Bailey nods once, like she's confirming something she already knew. She moves to my couch and sits heavily, hands resting on her belly. Robert is at the office, destroying his phone. He thinks Caroline sent me the photos. She looks up at me. He doesn't know I followed him here last month. After you called in sick when your daughter was ill. He seemed concerned. It wasn't like him. My legs feel unsteady. I sink into the chair across from her. How long? She asks. It ended before I knew I was pregnant. That's not what I asked. I meet her eyes. 6 months. She flinches but doesn't look away. And your daughter? Lily. Lily. She tests the name. She's his. It's not a question, but I nod anyway. Does he see her? No, he pays support, that's all. Bailey laughs, a brittle sound. Of course. Robert's solution to everything. Throw money at it until it goes away. She looks around my small apartment. Except you didn't go away. I tried. My voice catches. After Lily was born, I applied for dozens of jobs. But the gap in my resume, being a single mother, no one would hire me for what I needed to support her. So you stayed, working for him, watching him every day. I didn't have a choice. We all have choices, Hannah. Her hand moves in slow circles over her belly. I chose to believe my husband when he said he was working late. I chose to ignore the signs. I chose to trust him after 3 miscarriages when he suddenly wanted to try again. The timing hits me. After he knew I was pregnant, Bailey nods, tears finally spilling. He came home one night different, attentive, desperate to reconnect. 9 weeks later, I was pregnant. She wipes her cheeks. I was so happy I never questioned the timing. The revelation sickens me. Robert hadn't just abandoned our child, he'd deliberately created another to replace her. A small sound from down the hall interrupts us, Lily calling out in her sleep. She's here, Bailey asks, suddenly tense. She's sleeping. Bailey stands, one hand braced against her back. I want to see her. Bailey, I don't think... Please. Her voice breaks. I need to see her. I lead her to Lily's room, my heart hammering. We stand in the doorway watching my daughter, Robert's daughter, sleep peacefully in her crib, unaware of the storm breaking around her. Bailey's breath catches. She has his eyes. And his curls, I whisper. We retreat to the living room in silence. When Bailey speaks again, her voice is different, harder. Did you leave that birth certificate in my gift basket? Yes. Why? Because I was tired. The truth pours out of me. Tired of being erased. Tired of watching him pretend we don't exist while he builds a perfect life with you. A life built on lies? Bailey's hands clench. Do you love him? The question startles me. No, not anymore. But you did. I thought I did. I look at her directly. Do you? She doesn't answer immediately. I love the man I thought he was. She stands, gathering her coat. I should go. What will you do? Bailey pauses at the door. I don't know yet. But Robert doesn't get to control this narrative anymore. She turns to face me. Whatever happens next, keep Lily away from the office and check your email tonight. Before I can ask what she means, she's gone. My phone rings an hour later. Emiliano. Hannah, where are you? The office is chaos. I'm home, what's happening? Robert's on a rampage. He fired Caroline on the spot. Something about unauthorized surveillance. She's threatening a lawsuit. His voice drops. And Bailey showed up, demanded access to his email, then left, looking like she was about to commit murder. My stomach drops. Emiliano Bailey was here, at my apartment. She knows everything. Silence then. Holy shit. Are you okay? I don't know. My hands are shaking. She told me to check my email tonight. That doesn't sound good. As if summoned, my laptop pings with a new message. Hold on, that might be her now. I open my email to find a message from Bailey with a single attachment. The subject line reads, Your choice. The attachment is a legal document, a revised child support agreement drafted by Bailey's family law firm. It acknowledges Robert as Lily's father, grants me full custody, and triples the monthly support payments. A note at the bottom, in Bailey's handwriting. Sign this. Disappear from our lives, and you'll never worry about money again. Refuse, and I'll ensure Robert never works in this industry again, which means neither will you. You have 24 hours. Hannah! Emiliano's voice seems far away. What is it? I stare at the document, at the figure that would secure Lily's future. All I have to do is take the money and vanish. Exactly what Robert wanted all along. It's a way out, I tell Emiliano, but not the one I want. What are you going to do? My eyes drift to Lily's room, to the daughter who deserves more than secrets and shame. I'm going to call Robert's old friend Vince, I say, remembering the name from office gossip, the former colleague who left under mysterious circumstances. Something tells me he might have his own story to tell about Robert. Hannah, that's playing with fire. I watch another flash of lightning illuminate my apartment. Then it's a good night for it. Finding Vince proves easier than expected. A LinkedIn message, a cryptic explanation about Robert, and within hours I have his number. What's harder is working up the courage to call. I sit on my balcony watching the storm recede as night falls. Lily sleeps peacefully inside, unaware that her future hangs in the balance of decisions made by adults who should know better. Bailey's offer, the document promising financial security, sits open on my laptop. The deadline is tomorrow. My phone feels heavy in my hand as I dial Vince's number. He answers on the third ring. Hannah? I've been expecting your call for over a year. His voice is different than I imagined, warmer, with an edge of weariness. You know who I am? Robert's assistant with the inconvenient pregnancy. Yeah, I know. There's no judgment in his tone, only resignation. The question is, why are you calling me now? I watch a car pass on the street below, its headlights briefly illuminating the rain-slicked pavement. Because I'm tired of being erased. Vince is quiet for a moment. Meet me tomorrow. Blackbird Coffee on Westlake, 10 a.m. I'll be there. After we hang up, I text Emiliano. Meeting Vince tomorrow morning. Can you watch Lily? His response is immediate. Of course, but be careful. We don't know what his angle is. I stare at Bailey's offer again, the cursor blinking at the signature line. The money would change everything for Lily. Private schools, college, security. All it would cost is her identity, her father, her truth. I close the laptop without signing. Blackbird Coffee is busy when I arrive, the morning rush in full swing. I spot Vince immediately, early 40s, sharp eyes, nursing a black coffee in the corner. He stands when he sees me. Hannah, he extends his hand. Finally nice to meet you. I shake it, studying him. How do you know about me? About Lily? Sit. He gestures to the chair across from him. Robert and I were friends for 15 years, business partners for 7. I know all his secrets. His mouth twists. And he knows mine. What happened between you? Vince takes a slow sip of coffee. 3 years ago, I discovered Robert was embezzling from our clients. Small amounts, spread across dozens of accounts. Nearly untraceable. My stomach drops. Did you report him? I confronted him privately first, gave him a chance to make it right. Vince's eyes harden. Instead, he framed me, planted evidence that I was the one stealing. By the time I realized what was happening, the board had already decided I was guilty. That's why you left the company. Left? He laughs bitterly. I was escorted out by security, blacklisted in the industry. My wife left me when our savings disappeared into legal fees. He leans forward. Robert doesn't just hide inconvenient truths, Hannah. He destroys them. The coffee shop suddenly feels too warm, too crowded. Why are you telling me this? Because you're making the same mistake I did. Vince pulls out his phone, scrolling to a photo before sliding it across the table. You think you can beat him at his own game. The photo shows Robert and Bailey at what appears to be a dinner party, their arms around each other, smiling. This was taken last night, Vince says, hours after she visited you. My hands start to shake. How do you know she came to my apartment? Because I've been watching Robert for 2 years, gathering evidence. His eyes meet mine. Bailey isn't your ally, Hannah. She's his partner. No. I push the phone back toward him. She was devastated when she found out about Lily. Was she? Or was she performing devastation? Vince reclaims his phone. Think about it. She offers you money to disappear. Exactly what Robert wanted all along, the perfect solution to their problem. My mind races, reassessing every moment of Bailey's visit. Her controlled anger, her strategic questions, the legal document ready within hours. You're saying they planned this together? I'm saying Robert has a pattern. When someone threatens him, he neutralizes them. With me, it was professional destruction. With you, he shrugs. A golden cage is still a cage. I feel sick. What about Caroline? The photos? A convenient crisis to make Bailey's offer seem like salvation rather than exile. Vince checks his watch. Your deadline to sign is what? Noon today. How did you know that? Because I know how they operate. He stands, dropping cash on the table. You have a choice to make, Hannah. Take the money and disappear, or fight back and risk losing everything. Why would you help me? You don't even know me. Vince pauses. Because my daughter doesn't know who I am anymore. Because Robert took that from me too. His eyes soften slightly. And because sometimes, just sometimes, the truth actually wins. As he turns to leave, I grab his arm. Wait, you said you've been gathering evidence? 2 years' worth. Would it be enough to expose him? To prove what he did to you? A slow smile spreads across Vince's face. With the right leverage? Absolutely. What kind of leverage? Access to his private email server, the one he uses for sensitive communications. My heart pounds as I remember Bailey's words. Demanded access to his email, not his work account. She already had access to that, his private server. I think I might know how to get that, I say. Vince sits back down. I'm listening. When I return home, Emiliano is building a block tower with Lily. His expression grows concerned as he takes in my face. What happened? I pull out my phone, showing him the photo of Robert and Bailey. They're playing me. Both of them. Emiliano's eyes widen. You're sure? No. I sink onto the couch. But I can't take that risk. So what now? You'll sign Bailey's agreement? I watch Lily knock over the tower, her delighted giggle filling the room. In that moment, everything becomes crystal clear. No. I pull out my laptop. I'm going to email Bailey. Tell her I need to meet with both her and Robert before I sign anything. Hannah, if Vince is right, that's walking into the lion's den. I know. I start typing. But this time I'll be wearing armor. I send the email, then dial Vince's number again. When he answers, I don't hesitate. I need everything you have on Robert. Every document, every recording, every screenshot. And what will you do with it? I look at Lily, at her innocent joy, at the future I want for her. One built on truth, not convenient lies. End this. Tonight. Robert and Bailey's house looms before me, a modern fortress of glass and concrete perched on a hillside. Rain has started again, gentle but persistent, beading on my windshield as I sit in the driveway gathering courage. Vince's evidence is backed up in 3 places: my email, Emiliano's laptop, and a flash drive currently pressed against my ribs in my bra. My insurance policy. My phone buzzes with a text from Emiliano. Lily's asleep. We're fine. Are you sure about this? I'm not sure about anything except that I can't live another day in the shadows. I text back, if you don't hear from me by 10, send everything to the email list we discussed. The list includes the company board, the SEC, and 3 journalists Vince suggested. Nuclear options. I tuck my phone away and approach the front door. Before I can knock, it swings open. Bailey stands there, one hand supporting her lower back, the other holding the door. You're late, she says, no warmth in her voice. Traffic. I step inside, immediately struck by the contrast to my apartment. Everything here is expansive, pristine, expensive. A showroom, not a home. Bailey leads me to a sleek living room where Robert waits, tumbler of whiskey in hand. His expression is unreadable as I take the seat across from him. Did you bring the signed agreement? He asks without preamble. No. I keep my voice steady. I wanted to talk first. Bailey lowers herself onto the couch beside Robert. They don't touch, but there's a united front in their posture that confirms Vince's warning. There's nothing to discuss, Robert says. The terms are generous. 3 times your current support, Bailey adds. Financial security for your daughter. Our daughter, I correct, looking directly at Robert. Lily is our daughter. Robert's jaw tightens. Biologically, perhaps? No, in every way that matters. I lean forward. That's what this is really about, isn't it? Not the money, not the scandal. You're terrified of being her father. That's absurd, he scoffs, but there's a flicker of something in his eyes. Is it? You've spent a year pretending she doesn't exist, paying me to keep her hidden, creating a replacement child. I nod toward Bailey's belly. Bailey's hand moves protectively over her stomach. You have no right. I have every right. My voice rises despite my efforts to control it. You came to my home. You saw my daughter, your husband's daughter, and your solution was to pay us to disappear. We're offering you a way out, Bailey says, her composure slipping. A fresh start. No, you're offering to erase us. I turn back to Robert. Just like you erased Vince when he discovered you were embezzling. The colour drains from Robert's face. Bailey goes still beside him. Vince was unstable, Robert says carefully. His accusations were investigated and dismissed. Because you framed him. Because you planted evidence. I pull out my phone. He kept records, Robert, of everything, including your private server emails discussing how to set him up. Robert's knuckles whiten around his glass. You're bluffing. I pull up one of the emails Vince provided and read aloud. Once the board sees the transfer records, they won't question further. Vince's signature is easy enough to replicate. I've already laid groundwork suggesting his gambling debts. I look up. Should I continue? The silence stretches between us taut as a wire. Finally, Bailey breaks it. What do you want, Hannah? It's the question I've been asking myself for months. What do I really want? I want Lily to know her father. I want her to have his name, legally and publicly. I want acknowledgement, not erasure. I meet Robert's eyes. And I want the truth about what you did to Vince made right. Robert laughs, but there's no humour in it. Or what? You'll destroy my career, my marriage, your own livelihood? If necessary? You're forgetting something crucial. Robert leans forward. Any scandal that destroys me will touch you too. The company will distance themselves from both of us. Your reputation. I don't care about my reputation. The realization hits me as I say it. I care about my daughter growing up knowing she matters, that she wasn't a mistake to be hidden away. Something shifts in Bailey's expression, not softening exactly, but recognition. She places a hand on Robert's arm. She's right. Robert turns to her, startled. What? She's right, Robert. Bailey's voice is quiet but firm. We can't build our family on lies. I won't do it anymore. Bailey, no. She cuts him off. I agreed to help you contain this because I wanted to save our marriage. But I can't. Her voice breaks. I can't look at another child and wonder if you're hiding them too. The unity between them fractures visibly. Robert stands pacing to the window. What are you saying? I'm saying fix this. Bailey looks at me, then back to him. Acknowledge your daughter. Make amends to Vince. Or I walk. With evidence of both your crimes. Robert stares at her, betrayal etched on his face. You wouldn't. Bailey rises with effort, one hand on her belly. Try me. The room crackles with tension. Robert looks between us, calculation and panic warring in his eyes. I can almost see him weighing options, searching for escape routes. You've discussed this, he says finally. The two of you. This is a setup. No, I say. This is consequence. Bailey moves to stand beside me, an unexpected alliance forming in real time. Your choice, Robert. But choose carefully. For the first time since I've known him, Robert looks truly cornered. His perfect life, his carefully constructed image, all of it balanced on the edge of a knife. If I agree, he says slowly, what happens to the evidence? It stays where it is, I tell him. Insurance. He drains his whiskey, sets the glass down with deliberate control. When he looks up, there's something new in his eyes. Something I've never seen before. Fear. Tell me what you want. Exactly. Morning light streams through the conference room windows, painting golden rectangles across the polished table. I sit straight-backed in my chair, watching as board members file in one by one. Some nod in recognition. Others avoid my eyes. Robert enters last, impeccable in a charcoal suit that can't quite hide the strain of the past week. The circles under his eyes match mine. He takes his seat at the head of the table directly across from me. Let's begin, he says, voice steady despite everything. I open my laptop as the board chairman calls the meeting to order. My presentation is ready, the one Robert agreed to after 3 hours of negotiation in his living room. The one that will change everything. Before we discuss quarterly projections, Robert says, I have a personal announcement. The room quiets. This isn't in the agenda. As some of you may have heard, there have been rumours regarding my personal life. His eyes flick to mine briefly. I want to address them directly. My heart pounds. We had agreed on the statement, carefully crafted by both our lawyers. But Robert is nothing if not unpredictable. A year and a half ago, I fathered a child with Ms. Reeves. He gestures toward me. I've recently taken steps to legally acknowledge my daughter and establish appropriate support and visitation. Murmurs ripple through the room. I keep my expression neutral, though inside I'm trembling. Additionally, Robert continues, I've become aware of certain irregularities in how a former partner's departure was handled. I've instructed our legal team to re-examine the evidence against Vince Ford and make appropriate restitution. The chairman leans forward. Robert, if there were legal improprieties, all details will be provided to the board by end of day. Robert's tone makes it clear the discussion is closed. Now, Ms. Reeves has a presentation on departmental restructuring. He nods to me and I stand. As I connect my laptop to the projector, I feel the weight of every gaze. This moment, standing here as myself, not as Robert's shadow, is what I've fought for. Thank you, I begin. As you'll see in the proposal before you, I'm recommending significant changes to our organizational structure. I click to the first slide. There, in clean professional font, is my new title, Director of Operations. Not Robert's assistant, not VP, the position he'd dangled as bait for so long. A lateral move into a role I've actually earned. As I walk the board through my vision, I catch Robert watching me, not with anger or resentment, but something more complex. Recognition, perhaps. For the first time, he's seeing me, really seeing me as a professional equal. When I finish, the chairman nods approvingly. Impressive analysis, Ms. Reeves. Let's put it to a vote. The restructuring passes unanimously, including Robert's vote. The office empties gradually as evening approaches. I pack my things, family photos I'd never dared display before, including one of Lily, now prominently framed. Tomorrow I'll move to my new office down the hall. A knock at my door reveals Emiliano, leaning against the frame with a small smile. Director Reeves, he says, has a nice ring to it. Better than that assistant who slept with the boss, I reply, only half joking. Is that what they're saying? Some, I shrug. Others are too busy gossiping about Caroline threatening to sue, or Vince's vindication, or Bailey moving out. Emiliano steps inside, closing the door. Are you okay with all of it? The scrutiny? It's better than invisibility. I place the last photo in my box, Lily at the park last weekend, Robert awkwardly pushing her swing. Our first tentative steps toward co-parenting. At least now it's on my terms. And Bailey? How's that going? Complicated. I think of our last conversation, tense but respectful. She's staying with her sister until after the baby comes. Says she needs space to decide what she wants. And what do you want, Hannah? Now that you've won. The question catches me off guard. What do I want? For so long, my wants were simple. Recognition, justice, dignity. Now that I have them, the horizons seem strangely vast. I want to be good at this job, I say finally. I want Lily to be proud of me. I want... Another knock interrupts us. Robert stands in the doorway, his expression unreadable. May I have a moment? He asks. Emiliano gives my arm a supportive squeeze before leaving. The door clicks shut behind him. Robert and I regard each other across the room. Adversaries, co-parents, colleagues. All of it uncomfortable, all of it real. Bailey called, he says. She's filing for divorce. I absorb this without surprise. I'm sorry. Are you? Yes, and I am, surprisingly. Not for exposing the truth, but for the pain it's caused. Robert nods slowly. The board wants me to take a leave of absence while they investigate the Vince situation. They've asked you to step in temporarily. The irony isn't lost on either of us. And you're okay with that? No. A ghost of his old smile appears. But I'm learning to live with things I'm not okay with. He moves to the window, looking out at the darkening sky. I keep asking myself when it all went wrong, when I became someone who could do these things. One choice at a time, I say. That's how it happens. And how does it get fixed? The same way, one choice at a time. He turns back to me. I'm meeting with Vince tomorrow, to apologize, to make amends. It's more than I expected from him. That's a good start. And Sunday, he hesitates. Our visitation agreement says I get Lily from 10 to 4. Yes. I thought we might go to the zoo. She likes animals, right? The question, so normal, so paternal, catches me off guard. She loves them, especially elephants. Robert nods, filing this information away. I should let you finish packing. As he reaches the door, I call after him. Robert? He pauses. It won't be easy. I tell him any of it. The board, Vince, co-parenting. Being visible means being accountable. I know. He meets my eyes one last time. But some truths shouldn't stay buried. After he leaves, I stand alone in the office that will no longer be mine. Through the window, I can see my reflection, superimposed over the city lights. A woman I'm just getting to know. Not perfect, not ruined, just Real. My phone buzzes with a text from the babysitter. Lily said a new word today. Truth. Where did she learn that? I smile, typing back. From her mother. I gather my box of belongings and turn off the light. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. Robert's complicated redemption, Bailey's uncertain future, my own path forward. None of it will be simple. But as I walk toward the elevator, my steps are lighter than they've been in years. The weight of secrets lifted, replaced by something more substantial, the burden and blessing of living in the open. Some prices are worth paying, some truths demand to be told, and some stories, even the painful ones, deserve to be written in full daylight.